Okay.
Okay, so we'll begin with the volunteer recommendations. We had a chance to volunteer, so we had first-hand experience in this. Volunteers should be highly encouraged to post, tag, and share photos of their visits. This will increase the exposure of the Facebook page by the number of friends that the volunteers has. And the probability of an increase of shares will significantly increase, which will also expand the exposure and cause more likes.
So we also think that that volunteers should be provided with more opportunity within the company to see the kind of like aspects of behind the scenes, or like when we would volunteer, we kind of would receive like a certificate of recognition, and something that we can like use along with our resume and shows a sample of our work. For the Facebook part of it, the process to volunteer, it's not really like defined clearly for someone to just apply for it. Facebook page only provides the area for donations only.
And we also thought it would be a good idea because we noticed on the JA of Chicago website that they have almost 14,000 volunteers, so we thought it would be good if they mentioned to their volunteers when they sign up that they should like the Facebook page, because that way they would get more likes and it wouldn't have to be like a requirement or anything, but at least it would be mentioned so more people would definitely do it.
And then lastly, as Anthony stated, when you're going into it as volunteers, you do get some sort of training, but at the same time, it might not be sufficient for some people. So he stated that clearly that maybe there should be a little bit more training, and based off of that, people would have obviously much more higher success when volunteering in junior achievement.
Okay, and next we'll go to recommendations for the schools.
So we thought that in order for junior achievement to gain more volunteers, they should also promote themselves, and they should be open to like making recommendations either for their volunteers or just promoting that as well. And then we also thought that if they had more schools in the area that were able to get the experience of junior achievement, that all the schools in the area would definitely receive benefit from that.
Yeah, a similar thing that what she just said. If there were more schools within many areas, especially here in the state of Illinois, because I believe there are a lot of schools that are around, the Chicagoland area, and if there was more around, like let's say here in Aurora, things like that, as far as people or like volunteers themselves trying to transport themselves to that specific area, it'd be more ideal if it was more near, and I believe there would probably be more volunteers as well. And along with that, there were a couple posts, but most are recognizing that volunteers and not school in which it occurred. And so like what I was kind of saying, as long as it's near you or possibly not as far, there would be more volunteers, especially.
Okay, so basically you're saying they should highlight the schools as well. Should they highlight the schools they're not in yet, or just the schools they're only using?
That they should provide, I guess, more schools in general. So I know that a lot of the schools that are volunteering for part of junior achievement are around the Chicagoland area. So if they were to include a little bit more schools, that could create more possibilities for students or volunteers, especially to do junior achievement or to volunteer for part of it.
Well, would that help them interact on Facebook?
That would, because that would increase just the presence. The more people, the more likes, the more exposure.
Yeah.
The more people that are involved. I mean, I have 700 or 800 friends, so even just my exposure, that's 700 people. If one of them likes it, then that just kind of will keep going.
Okay.
And another thing that we suggest is the schools encourage, the school should be encouraged to somehow maybe put in like a comment on Facebook about the experience. If there's a teacher that particularly really enjoyed it, maybe just add a little something. And of course, this isn't something that should be required, but something that should be recommended, and I think that would help. I also think that maybe schools should encourage parents. You know, a lot of these parents sign off on their kids participating and having their photos taken and things like that. So they're somewhat aware that of the presence of junior achievement in the school. So maybe if the parents send a note like, hey, if your kid particularly enjoyed their experience, maybe go on and put a little comment. And again, that's just going to increase the exposure even just within the parents' Facebook friends, that could lead to more likes and more overall activity on the Facebook page.
Awesome.
And now we'll move to recommendations for the sponsors and the employees within JA.
We thought the sponsors should be obviously school related. I remember when I used to go to elementary school, the program I remember the most was like the DARE program, just because like the guests would come in, they would do interactions with the kids, have like assemblies, provide all these games for us to use, and that's what we kind of think that JA should do in providing the growth for their advertising. We also thought that it should provide more air for search-wise, you know, how we mentioned that social media, we also discussed about putting a hashtag, so whatever that a volunteer had posted about their experience, that they would put a hashtag and it would redirect them to the JA website and to get more information about it.
Yeah, and as far as Facebook is concerned, like when it comes to sponsors or even JA employees, they can easily tag themselves within the actual page of Junior Achievement of Chicago, and so just so social media based, they could be easily more recognized and have more awareness towards the organization of Junior Achievement.
And I also think that it would be important, and it would help a lot for the volunteers if like one employee could be able to go to every junior achievement event, like even just for like part of the time. I think it would really help because they could, you know, assist with any questions that volunteers had, and they could also be able to take pictures that they could later post to social media, because if you're a volunteer on your own, you aren't necessarily always able to get those pictures and tag junior achievement in it. And they could also take video footage, like not the whole thing, but you know, just like little parts, and that would be able to show volunteers what it's like, because I don't really think that you're able to really understand what it's really like until you experience it. So I think that if they took videos of those experiences, it would really help as well.
Yeah, and I was gonna kind of touch base on that as well. On Facebook itself, Claire did mention that you can easily have videos, just so training could be more easier, and you can kind of experience kind of what some of the volunteers would go through while in Junior Achievement and volunteering. And so yeah, easily post videos on Facebook on their page, on the Junior Achievement of Chicago page, and training could be a lot more easier.
Nice.
And then last, we just thought we might throw in a few other suggestions that we think would help. One of the things is having updated training videos. We did get some videos that were sent to us, but we felt that they may have been just a little bit dated, or just in general, maybe if one of the actual sessions is videotaped, because the videos that we saw was just you know, a teacher or a volunteer sitting on a table, but there's no actual interaction with the kids. And I think that that's something that's very important when you're actually out there to kind of expect and know what you're getting into. So I think maybe the videos could be a little bit upgraded, or maybe they need to go and follow some volunteers, like Clara said, and tape some of those and use those as training purposes. And I think that will better prepare just the volunteers in general.
Okay, so I know that in order to, while we were working on this social media project, this class did volunteer in the JA for a day. So did it help with you coming up with these recommendations?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, most
definitely.
definitely.
Well, I think if we hadn't been there, it would be a lot harder to have any recommendations. I think
Yeah.
you definitely need the first-hand experience to be able to
Yeah.
at least speak from just knowledge and things like that.
Okay, and then the training videos, you said, okay, so I know that on Facebook and any social media platform, videos are king right now. You can get the most views and the most interaction with
Yes.
videos. So with the training videos, I didn't see the direct correlation to the Facebook follower interaction in the videos.
It would definitely be like, let's say you took a video of a volunteer that does that really mean? And then you could just post that, and I'm sure like even volunteers, like I know that would definitely get a lot of feedback as well as shares or just promoting the page and getting exposure. I think that would definitely get a lot of interaction.
So then my last question is, I know in one of the classes, you guys mentioned the Facebook page itself, you can't really tell what
Well,
junior achievement
That's
does.
actually the next recommendation
Oh,
that we're gonna
okay.
talk about.
Oh, sorry. Next,
But
go
we
ahead.
felt- We felt that the Facebook page should be a little more transparent. When you're looking up just even the keywords junior achievement within the search bar, what you get is that take your work to kids slogan that they have, but I feel like it should be a little bit more direct as far as what they actually do, because a person that's just kind of quickly going through the pages, they're gonna see that and maybe not really take interest, whereas maybe if they saw some kids with the volunteers, photos, things like that, maybe they kind of be like, okay, well, you know, when you think of junior achievement, I don't necessarily think of volunteering for kids. It definitely has to do with kids learning, but I think it's something that should be more clearly expressed. So again, like adding photos of the volunteers, maybe some of the children as their cover picture. I think that would help a lot, and also adding a lot more real-time photos of what's going on currently and what actually does happen within the sessions. I think that will encourage people and even just get them, if anything, maybe not to like, but at least to acknowledge and be curious about the page, and even just go in there and take a look, and who knows, they might actually like it or recommend it to somebody that they know does volunteer.
Nice.
I think there's one more slide.
So some of us quoted what we thought of our experience, and one of us said, overall, I really enjoyed volunteering at Junior Achievement. I was given an opportunity to develop my public speaking skills and advance my career.
For me, I've been working with Junior Achievement for 2 years now. It's really rewarding because not only are you helping kids, you're also developing your skills like public speaking, you know, and just putting more experience on your resume.
And then I also said that I thought it was really helpful to myself, and I think every time you go there, it's going to be a unique experience because every class is different. You know, every things are always going to go differently. It's not like it's always going to be the same. So it's really interesting, but it's also really rewarding.
Well, I am very impressed. This was an awesome presentation. I like the knowledge you put into it, and I'm glad the experience gave you that extra push so that you know the inside out and you can actually see what was working and what wasn't working. Awesome.